How's your follow through? It's a question that maybe hit you if you were an athlete uh, with the sport that you played. Or maybe if you're in the business world, it was your marketing strategy. But maybe today, I just want to take that question and apply it personally to you and to how others look at you. It's a question that I ask myself, and I've been using this month as a time to just let you know kind of the threefold rule that I use to personally evaluate how I'm growing and how I'm developing others. And in the last couple sessions, we let you know that the first starts with following Him. The tough stuff is following up. And today, I'm going to ask you that question. How's your follow through? Follow through really does define more than what you do. It determines the trajectory of your ability to do things for others and where you're going to land. And I've shared some notes in our leader email that I want you to really just review and ponder over the next couple weeks. But this idea of follow through is about being consistent. It's about integrity. It's about being the kind of person that others can look to and know that you will keep your word and you will do what's necessary to be present and to be available if you say that you are. And so I just want to spend a few minutes sharing with you that can be the biggest opportunity for you in the weeks, the months, and the years ahead for you as a leader, as a group leader, and honestly, whatever role you hold. Because follow through is difficult, but it really becomes mindless if it becomes habituated. And so kind of going all the way back to building the right habits and rhythms that you might need to do, follow through is something that the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And I say that because I remember as a kid wanting to be a great shooter at basketball and practicing free throws 10 at a time, clipping through those 1, 2, 3, 4. And I remember pretty regularly evaluating my wrist, and I would push to the side or throw it away, and that it was such a subtle thing that I did wrong with my hand, but it would determine whether I made the shot or if I was off by just a little bit. And maybe in your leadership right now, you're off by just a fraction, but that could steer your group or steer you and your family or whatever that area that you're just off a little bit in, 1 degree off over time in a way that is going to be detrimental to your leadership, to your group, or honestly to trying to follow Jesus. And so what I wanted to do is just share with you briefly 2 stories from talking with leaders just like you who this year, with COVID, with the pandemic, and seeing what their leader needs were and what their group asked for, who made some shifts, where these subtle things have created life for others. The first is this. I talked with a leader who, when COVID broke out, they were in the habit of meeting every other week. And that was healthy for them. They met in person, but they actually made the decision to double down on their meeting times, to increase the frequency of when they were meeting. They meet online, and they've been able to consistently meet throughout the pandemic and actually have picked up the daily care of somebody who's been struggling with cancer diagnosis, with rides, with cleaning, with meal prep. And they've actually just been the church in humility by modeling consistency. The other thing is I talked with a leader who similarly, they met and they studied fervently, but they did that every other week. And what they decided to do was same, jump online and meet more frequently, but at a lower intensity. And they did it to maintain connection and care. And while that definitely created a new rhythm for them, they're finding life throughout the pandemic by being connected with one another more consistently, but at a lower intensity. And so I just want to encourage you that maybe that's what you consider for your group. And the picture of that I want you to share is of health. Do what's necessary for health, for yourself and for others. And it's like learning to eat well. I grew up in the Midwest here, and I was trained those 3 meals, meat and potatoes. Make sure that you have all those things and eat with regularity in a substantive way. But the older I've gotten and the more that I've learned, they've said actually smaller meals at an increased frequency with better nutrients. And I've learned to eat differently, smaller, less intense, but more consistent. And so I just want to encourage you that in this season, while it may feel overwhelming, it may feel like a lot to say, man, I'm going to follow through and I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to have these meetings where you may want to call them off. You may not want to call that person. Consistency over intensity will produce better results. So I want you to know we're here for you. I want to set up a time to connect with you and hear your story, how we can help you tweak your follow through so that you can grow and continue to follow well and make disciples. Much love, leaders.